Hey everyone, I am Coulter Scott. This is our Module 12 case study for EDL 852. It is all going to be over a prompt that we read that is titled, Who Should Create the School's Vision? Section 1 is the facts of this case study. What is going on? We have a community school district named Lightville that is growing and running out of space for their students. The school board has voted 4-1 to conduct a referendum to build a new middle school. It was approved. The superintendent, Joe, got approval to hire a new principal for this middle school 12 months before the building is completed. Susan Potter was the hired principal for the new middle school. Principal Potter was given a list of objectives to complete before the school opened, and this was to make staffing decisions, organize school programs, collaborate with architects and contractors. To continue the facts, Principal Potter creates an advisory committee. This committee was assigned to task of creating the vision statement for the new school. Helen Burke was voted the chair of that committee. Before the committee met all together, Helen and Principal Potter started a conversation of how and who should create the vision statement and what all goes into that. During this, at this point, they kind of got into not a scuffle, but just a disagreement of how it should proceed. But then the disagreement went into the committee meeting, where Helen told her views to the committee, and Principal Potter told her views to the committee on how there should be how a vision statement should be created. Helen wanted the only Principal Potter to create it, and Principal Potter wanted to make all stakeholders involved with it. And they end up final decision on this before the committee left that time was that the committee voted 7-1 in favor that Principal Potter would create her own vision statement. The one nay would be Principal Potter. What didn't happen was the committee did not commit to their role as the Vision and Planning Committee and collaborate as a team to reach the end goal. Where and when? The where is the Lightville Community School District. When was during the planning stages of the new middle school building, so between 1 and 12 months before the completion of the building. Who was involved and what did they have to say? The architect firm was there from the start when Superintendent Rawlings wanted to have somebody come check out and help them with creating new ideas for the space. They created 3 options. Students could be involved. In our case, there was not a whole lot of involvement, but they could have a voice in the creation of the vision statement. They should have expectations as well. School staff provide input in the creation of the vision statement. Parents and community made the decision on which option they should build for the district and gave ideas for the vision statement. Administration, they had the original idea, would like to create a vision statement with all stakeholders. School board, they helped with the new school, hiring of the new principal, and the final improvement on the vision statement. The current and future success and well-being of the student and adults. Superintendent Rawling should be up there. School board, these are all people that should have knowledge and be able to make it happen. School board, the community that had promoted this by figuring out that they approved the new building of the new middle school. Then, of course, Principal Potter was, when she was thinking of the students and the adults, when wanting to create a vision statement that would support all of the stakeholders who had knowledge and ability to implement. The school vision statement, the people that had the knowledge for that are the school board, Superintendent Rawlings, Principal Potter, and then the advisory committee, of course. The process and reflects of the core set of values. Principal Potter definitely has that. She knows the process. She has it down. Those others have it, but in this case, she is the one that really shows that she knows the information on it and is trying to let the advisory committee, the vision statement committee, understand that as well. The capacity to lead, the school board has it. The Superintendent Rawlings and Principal Potter have the capacity to lead. How did they incorporate? They incorporated data by bringing in the architect firm to give the school board and superintendent the data that suggested new additions to the district. The community, They were involved by giving final proof of and where they stood on the decision on the building. They did not address any technology, equality, diversity, or digital citizenships up to this point. Section 2, the legal and ethical issues. There was nobody harmed in the immediate situation. The long-term effects of not having a collaborative vision statement could be harmful to the students, staff, and other stakeholders in the future. Nobody broke any, there's no laws being broken, no discriminatory actions or constitutional harassment. Synthesize the situation. The Vision and Planning Committee believes and trusts their principal, but struggles in believing in the way she wants to create the vision statement in a collaborative way. Section 4, what is missing? Missing information and under people. In this situation of creating a vision statement, the advisory committee, besides Principal Potter, is leaving out all the stakeholders and their right to have input in the decision-making process. The place, I really did not feel like the place was important and needed in this information section, so it could still be left out. Obviously, the place is the location of the school and where they're at. Programs were not really discussed at this moment because we're really focused on the vision statement. Why didn't we identify the missing information? The value of the information that the school and the community stakeholders would give to the advisory committee would have a strong impact on the vision statement for greater success and the follow-through of the vision. Everybody would have a common goal and everybody would know where and what we want to meet. Section 5, review of the information. The important information from the story was that Principal Potter had been hired 12 months before the school had opened, so that's great. She was there plenty of time to get everything going. All hired staff, except for 4, were hired internally, so there was already a viable interest for the school district and the success. There was a lot of people involved, so they could really be a part of the planning and organization process of everything. Principal Potter created a vision and planning committee, which was a great idea. It's a great platform to get things started. They committed of 4 teachers and 4 parents. Then, within that committee, they created norms and guidelines for the committee. Operate democratically, all members find decisions acceptable, develop a vision statement, and all stakeholders are given the opportunity to suggest or react to the elements in the statements. Some more information is Helen and Principal Potter met as a chair committee and a knowledge leader in the subject area. Helen informed Principal Potter that the committee was in full support of her and would go along with anything to develop a quality school. The next statement was from Helen was, don't hesitate to call upon me or other teachers for support, even for issues that are beyond the committee's scope. This concerned Principal Potter. This kind of said this was kind of like a rubber stamp. This is where they needed to go into, and all of a sudden she would get what she wants, no matter what she wanted, that this committee would turn into more of maybe a little more political based to get anything she passed. It was great that they had trust in her, but that pretty much it was what she wanted to do. Principal Potter informed the committee of the process and the steps collaboratively create a vision statement. The committee did end up voting against Principal Potter, like I said before. She needed to create her own. Section 6, my thoughts of the situation and creating my plan. We had 4 options. This is what I really broke it down there. 4 options for Principal Potter to take into action to follow through with creating a vision statement. Evaluation of these options. Pros and cons of the no action taken. So Principal Potter does nothing. She decides to do it on her own. The con would be she has to do it by herself. It will not be a collaborative effort. May not include all information needed. It's really just one-sided. The pro is the process probably would go faster. She could write it, it could be done. Not have to deal with any arguments that could arise when going through this process. And lastly, she's already been told that everything's going to pass, so she'll get whatever she wants approved. However she writes this vision statement, That's what's going to be there. It's going to go through. The second option would be go against the vision committee. The con for this there could be no support. Feel like the committee is being kind of backslapped, kind of going against what the committee wants. And that churn may have to be a little more secretive on how she's getting things done. All the work would still be on her, which is a big task. The pro can still collaborate with others. It may just not collaborate with the committee itself. She can still go out and visit with community and all their stakeholders, but yet again, that could go back into the con column of it could be secretive. And she doesn't want that. She don't want to create that tension with others. She can create a plan that collects all the data that is needed. The third option would be create a new vision committee. She could just start from scratch. She could say, well, this committee didn't work. You're all out. Let's move on. Con for that is it's starting over. And 12 months may seem like a long time, but it also happens very, very quick, and you got to get things done. Creates bad relationships. If you cut people and they're out, then that could be a problem. Then that relationship with them and moving forward and doing things with them would not be good. The fourth option would be take a new approach in discussing the subject with your committee. The con may not work, may be frustrated. Principal Potter may be frustrated in trying to get that response out that she wants from the committee. The pro, it keeps the committee together, keeps the small rural area tight-knit, creates the best vision statement for the district and for this middle school. And if they trust her in her decisions, then they should be able to trust this process, this request that she is asking. If they trust that she can make it, then they should be able to trust her in how she wants to make it. Developing the plan. The best option out of this I took away is to take the new approach to discussing the subject. If they trust Principal Potter, they should respect her thoughts on and follow through. Principal Potter came from a suburban middle school, so may need some knowledge on this district's needs, being in a rural, smaller area. Go more in depth on what all goes into the statement. She can break it down a little bit more. Maybe she could create little subgroups so that way a couple people from the committee, maybe one teacher, one parent, collaborate together on, and they have certain goals in mind within to how to collect data, how to set it up, all the way to the end of the evaluation phase of everything. I think this would be the best for the community to be revisited. We keep committees together and working well and not fragmented. How to implement this plan. This is just going to be how to go through the whole process of the vision statement really quickly. The process of development vision statement, first we got to collect the input from all stakeholders. How do we collect that? Is that going door to door? Is that sending mailings out? Is that having a town hall meeting? How are we going to collect that input? Is it reliable? What are we sending it out as? Can we reliably get it back? Are people comfortable? And then how are we going to get that information out to see if people agree to other ideas? Things that need to be involved in the vision statement process is the values and priorities. That is for right now, what we think right now needs to look like, and maybe what it needs to look like 5-10 years down the road. These are sections. The highlighted ones are obviously the most really important ones that correlate with our national standard for this section. Diversity, the graduation rates would be part of the data part. The technology, citizen technology, and then the community. We always want information from all of them. How does it affect our community? A vision statement should still be academically focused. Data that is also needed is where and who in Lightville Community School District serves. You got to make sure you understand who you're serving in your district. So in this instance, we have 2 rural townships. They're 10 miles away from a major city, and 60% of the people that are there live on farms. The data that is needing is we're moving ahead. People are moving in. We have great things, great schools, new schools. And then the data that is also needed is the architectural firm's information. To implement this, after we've collected the data, the input, what's next? We got to create the vision statement. Take all that information, put it together, see how people feel about it. To get approval from the community, the vision statement committee, the superintendent, and the school board. Everybody needs to agree on this. How do we want to proceed with our middle school? Implement it by top-down representation. Up top, everybody needs to show that we bought into this vision statement. Easy to access. It has to be available for everybody to see. maybe in hand, on walls, visible, handouts, signs in meetings. It needs to be there. It could go as far as being part of the interview process, asking people what they think about when they're looking at the vision statement. Start telling teachers to incorporate the vision statement within their objectives into their lessons. Start to kind of live and breathe it a little bit. And then to implement it, you still have to reevaluate it and follow up. There may need to be changes. It may need to be adjusted if down the road you don't feel like we're meeting expectations, or we've met them and we need to continue on. National standards statements. The standard correlation, reading through this case study prompt and working on answering these questions that really corresponded with it, had direct correlation with this national standard. The prompt discussed how the school district was growing out of their current building and how to construct a new one. Then it came up with a new mission statement and how important those values and what we needed to portray to our students, staff, families, and community. Situation was a little bit of a struggle for the principal. The committee said, no, well, we're not doing it. We're not helping you right now. We trust you. You can do it on your own. This absolutely correlates with it by, they didn't collaborate, they didn't develop, they didn't communicate on all this stuff. The design in the meeting should drive improvements and success. Relevance, when working on this case study and creating this presentation, it was really relevant to my learning by taking the subjects that were learned in earlier modules of this course and now able to implement that knowledge into the real scenario. Thinking about Principal Potter should handle this situation that she feels strongly about, the way to work through when creating a vision statement. And then I was able to come up with my own best solution to the prompt will greatly assist in learning and how to become the best future leader or administration I can be. To wrap things up, my reflection statement, I thought this was really interesting and I had a lot of fun really working on this assignment. Reflecting on this Module 12, I believe it was a great experience and assignment to wrap up the leadership administration course. When I was working on the module, I was able to work with some of my district's administration and discuss my thoughts on the prompt and how we would follow through if we were given this situation. By having this opportunity to bounce ideas back and forth with them, it gave me confidence in the answers I was giving and learned a lot about how my direct administration handles situations in my district. With this interaction over this one assignment led to greater understanding and relationships of each other, that it by itself helped me come up with a better future leader by creating collaboration, setting values, taking data, digital citizenship, and also implementation of a certain situation in a lead role. Here are my references. Just used a couple of them. Would like to thank everybody for watching. Appreciate all the hard work that everybody gave in this project as well as the 11 before this. Look forward to seeing you in some of the other classes that we have to take. Thank you.